Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices, and we have allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something that you can see yourself supporting, we ask that you like, comment, and share this live episode. As of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. Now, if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our leaders accountable, well, make sure you subscribe to our social media platforms. Currently, we are streaming on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. You can find us under Frankie Olivo. Also, we ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. religiously. So make sure that you subscribe to our Frankie Olivo TV page on our YouTube channel to tune in. We will not be silenced. And always remember, I am forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you have given us. Thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday. Teachers are back in the classrooms. The school district at BISD does start the new school year 2025-26 on August the 11th. We wish the teachers much success. We hope that this new year brings the very best in them, in their students, and hopefully they have and they meet their goals that they set up today and obviously on the 11th whenever they start having the students in the classrooms. It seems as if we're back to reality, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I hope you enjoyed your summer. It's important for us to talk about the significance that our educators have in our lives. I think we can all go back to a time where we felt a connection with an educator. Many times we have students that come from a single household. Usually either their mother or their father are out working and they need that person to guide them, mentor them. Sometimes it's usually coaches, teachers. So our education, our professionals, they play a vital role in shaping the minds and shaping the lives of our future generation. So it's always, and I try to think of myself whenever I remember getting ready for the new school year. I always remember being excited for receiving new clothes, new shoes. I was the type of kid that I would place my clothes out the night before and get ready. I would shower the night before. That way I can put on my clothes as fast as possible and be one of the first ones to Perez Elementary. Beautiful memories that I have. And we hope that that our students have that want to go back into the classrooms. We need to teach them the importance of education, of how it could open doors for them. Today, in today's society, it's getting to a point where having a high school diploma is not enough. In some professions, even a bachelor's degree is not enough. We're getting to a point where jobs are a luxury. Before, we could find employment just about anywhere. Now, with the new digital age where artificial intelligence, where we're starting to see robots, now it seems as if the humans are dispensable. There's even talks of robots taking over the day-to-day jobs that we so heavily depend on. We're starting to see, and we've been seeing for a while now, how the supers, the HEBs, the Walmarts, Now they have self-checkout. Before, you would have a cashier in every aisle. Now that's slowly starting to fade away. So we have to teach the importance of education. And education, the reality is that it's not for everyone. I have a bachelor's and a master's. I think I'm 30 to 40,000 in debt on student loans. I have a master's diploma hung up. I don't use it. The good thing about having an education is that it could possibly open a door, an opportunity. And as they say, maybe there is room for us to grow as people, as professionals. Maybe there is an opportunity for your humble servant to continue on with education. I spoke yesterday about manifestation and how if we want something, we got to speak it into existence. It's going to sound very weird, but lately a lot of things that I've been thinking about and talking about have been coming true. And I spoke to my partner and I said, hey, this has been happening to me lately. Do you believe in the power of manifestation? Do you believe in the power of speaking things into existence? And she said, yes, our mind is very powerful. Or maybe that's God's way of planting a seed in us and letting us know that, hey, something's coming. Be prepared for it. So the start of the new school year, ladies and gentlemen, always brings new opportunities for both teachers, and students. And we hope that there is this drive, there is this butterflies in their stomach that makes them want to progress, makes them want to do better from the last year. And that should be our mentality moving forward. We do have how the first day of school will be August the 11th for BISD, and we have the different hours that are set up for the elementary, middle school, and high school. They also have meet the teacher, and for us to prepare for open house. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to focus on the school board meeting that's set for this evening. We titled today's program, "Will there be a new Brownsville ISD board president today?" You and I can agree. Before I start, what do you think about Brownsville Riverwalk? There was discussion early 90s with Bill Hudson, but it was dead in the water. It's not going to happen. In my opinion, that's been going on for a long time. Downtown is dead. As much as the city wants to improve the downtown area, it's a lost cause, in my opinion. We see how Brownsville is moving up north. Those people that live in the Alton Glore area, they don't want to travel to downtown. They don't want to risk them drinking and driving all the way home. It seems as if everything is moving up towards Los Fresnos. Our community is growing into the Olmito area. Downtown seems to be an area of the past. And I don't want to sound ugly when I say this, but to me, downtown is dead. Why is it? And we're going to talk about this on Monday in greater detail. Why is it that there's only a few businesses that stay afloat? When you really think about it, it's because they're receiving grants from BCIC and GBIC. If it wasn't for these grants, these establishments, they wouldn't be in operation. Now, there are few, hot spots that people go to, but for the most part, and we understand the downtown area is designed in a way to cater to the elite, to cater to the people with money. You're not going to get the raza down there to pay for a $20 plate. You're not going to have the raza go down and pay $20, $25 for a small pie of pizza. That's just the reality. So to me, downtown is dead. And I don't want to sound bitter. I don't want to sound ugly. People are going to say, oh, you have to be optimistic. But anyways, we'll be talking about downtown Brownsville on Monday in greater detail. Also, before I forget, tomorrow we will be having an immigration attorney to answer any questions that we may have. There has been a lot of uncertainty. There's been a lot of uncertainty moving forward with President Trump's administration. It seems as if not only the Rio Grande Valley, but all throughout the United States, we've been seeing how ICE has been detaining, deporting undocumented individuals. So we'll be having attorney Pedro Chavez that will be here with us. But tomorrow, usually we start at 9 a.m. Tomorrow, because he asked, we'll be starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So we will be coming on a little bit late. But again, we always try to give our guests whatever they want. If they ask for a certain day, we give them a day. If they ask for a certain hour, we give them whatever they ask for. At the end of the day, they are the ones that make this show, not I. So tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we will be starting at 10 a.m. Central Time, a little bit later than we would like. But again, we will be having attorney Pedro Chavez that will be discussing immigration questions. He will be answering immigration questions, talking about ICE, talking about DACA, and giving us a better insight into what to expect. He does primarily focus on immigration. So it'll be great to listen to someone that is experienced, that deals with clients on a day-to-day basis, that are scared. I myself have received lots of questions that I have, deferred to him. And I said, you know what? I think it's best for you to come on and just, answer any doubts that the community may have. So tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, Good Morning Brownsville, we'll be having immigration attorney, Pedro Chavez, and we'll be coming on live at 10 a.m. So make sure you tune in for that. I need to say that before I start ranting about BISD. And someone, people, I get criticized a lot. People ask me, why do you always talk about BISD? Why do you talk about other school districts? I'm like, oh, BISD has so much tail. We have so much information, and we're blessed and fortunate enough to have the confidence of teachers, staff members that do see irregularities, things that are wrong within the school district, and they do confide in us, sensitive information, injustices that they see firsthand. That is the reason why we cover BISD in great detail. So we're not being particular with BISD. We've also posted about Harmony. We've also posted about IDEA previously, but it's just, it seems as if our sources, our main sources are from BISD. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, today we'll be talking about the school board meeting that is set for today. And I want to talk about how we have been staying afloat, it seems. We posted previously of our superintendent, and who can forget our superintendent, how he obtained the, thank you for the subscription. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I just got one more subscription, so we're officially at, where are we? 757. Woohoo! Again, the goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and we're slowly approaching our mark. Thank you so much for that new subscription. And if you haven't already, watch us on YouTube. Watch us on YouTube. It will help our algorithm moving forward. Who can forget? Dr. Jesus Chavez got this position when many other applicants were promised that Mr. Jesus Chavez would just be an interim superintendent. We did see how board member, now board president, Daniela Lopez Valdez did state, oh, no. We've seen outgrowing support from our community, and we feel as if Dr. Jesus Chavez is the right fit for BISD moving forward. They removed the interim title and now he is the superintendent for BISD. We have seen how he has been on the chopping block at least 2, possibly 3 times. With the passing of Erasmo Castro, the board was set on a 3-3 lock. And his contract was extended because it was a 3-3 vote. Or actually, they didn't even vote on his contract, actually. According to the BISD attorney, Eric Flores from O'Hanlon, he stated that because of matter of laws and operation, they weren't going to be voting on the contract. So essentially, he was just, what's the word, grandfathered in. So his contract is up in July or August. We have also been receiving numerous reports of how the school district, ladies and gentlemen, is in a disarray. And this isn't something that I'm throwing out there. I get these messages from principals, from teachers, from staff, from people within the Glass Palace. They see how this individual does not have the reins by the horns. It's not him who's running the show. There have been many people that have been critical of his character. How is it that an individual who is making $300,000, possibly $400,000, isn't doing his job, isn't efficient? We posted a few, last week? On Friday, we did post of how there has been chatter among the Glass Palace of how Beatriz Hernandez, one of his administrators, has been running the show. People have been very critical of her because it seems as if she's either currently in a doctoral program that she travels to a certain outside of the city, outside of the town, to fulfill with her obligations in obtaining that degree. I could be wrong, but that is the information that I have received, and many people have been critical and have stated, hey, well, if you do this for one, you have to open it up for the others. Whenever I say that BISD is a mess, it's because it is a mess. There is no guidance. Principals have stated, look, we don't know what to do. And it all, the buck stops with our superintendent. There is no question that he is on the chopping block. And today's school board meeting will let us know into an insight into how the majority, how they will favor the superintendent moving forward. Why do I say this? Well, today on the agenda, we have the reorganization of the school board. Many people anticipate, because currently right now, the way the school board is structured, ladies and gentlemen, Daniela Lopez Valdez is the president. She was previously the vice president under Erasmo Castro. After Erasmo Castro's passing, she became the president. So right now, technically, the position of vice president is vacant. The issue of the reorganization of the board is going to be very interesting moving forward. We stated how we anticipated that with the new board member, some call her the beauty queen, with the appointment of the new board member, many people have stated that Daniela Lopez Valdez had made a deal. And we made that report here on Good Morning Brownsville. We stated how there was an agreement. And there was a lot of chatter, ladies and gentlemen. There was a lot of chatter as to what was going to happen. Because, again, we, as a community, we wanted for the school board to go out for a vote. We stated that this was never going to be the case. This was something that they were going to wait until they were not able to legally hold an election. They wanted to appoint. Why? Because it's all about power. When we talk about BISD, we're talking about an entity of more than $500 million. I think this school year was the biggest budget that the school district has ever had in its history. I think right now it is closer to $600 million. But what have we seen from this all, ladies and gentlemen? We have seen how it is apparent that this school district is going from bad to worse. Why do you say this, Frankie? And look, before I get some slack, I don't want you to think that I'm just very critical of BISD because I'm hurt or because I'm jealous or because I'm no. We like to call a spade a spade. We like to think of whenever our politicians do good, we applaud them. We say, good job. Essentially, we shouldn't applaud them. Why? Because that is what they were entrusted with, essentially. But what have we seen from the board as of late? Well, we saw how the board recently did give raises. And whenever we talk about teachers, there always is a need to give more. Many people have criticized teachers. Oh, all they want is raises. It seems as if year in and year out, that is the topic of discussion. How much are we going to give the teachers? Many board members have used this for political clout, for political gain, and said, hey, remember me at the ballot box. Remember me when I run. Why? Because I continue to give you a raise. And look, I went to school to become a teacher. I personally want the teachers to receive as much as possible. But one thing that we keep on hearing from our school board is that they're always trying to be fiscally responsible. That is a word or a phrase that many politicos use. Oh, fiscally responsible. But when it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, what we have seen has been that our school board, with a budget of $500 million, the majority of that money gets swindled away in large contracts. Many have criticized the superintendent, the current and the former, Dr. Rene Gutierrez, of being too top heavy. Many people have criticized and said, look at Dr. Sendejas. She had one or two assistants who ran the show. That's possibly millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, that could be saved or spent elsewhere. Remember, fiscally responsible. And whenever the school board approved of this increase, where they gave $1,250 to teachers with 1 or 2 experience, $2,500 to teachers with 3 or 4 years experience, $5,000 to teachers with 5 or more years of experience. This was applauded by many and said, great job. New teachers are walking in with a salary of $56,000, which equates to a 2% raise for non-teachers, paraprofessionals. And we hope that the paraprofessionals, that they do receive more, because they have a great responsibility as well. But what have we seen, ladies and gentlemen? We seem as if BISD is always quick to put the cart before the horse. President Trump did make many promises. And look, I know what you're thinking, oh, President Trump, no vale pa puro cacahuate, I hate him. He's the worst president ever, blah, blah, blah. But what did we see? After the school board, after they approved of these raises, we saw how the school district started scrambling. Why? Because they lost federal funds. But this isn't something new, ladies and gentlemen. This was expected, even though the the paper, the Herald, says, oh, President Trump's administration unexpectedly froze nearly $7 billion. What did we hear from President Trump during the campaign trail? What did we hear from his administration? That he was going to focus on eliminating the Department of Education. What have we seen from President Trump? Everything that he's been talking about during the campaign trail slowly but surely has been coming into fruition. What have we seen from ICE? What's that phrase that he promises made, promises kept? So the school district found itself in a limbo because, let's rush to approve these raises. Yeah. But then when we see how the federal government froze $7 billion, which was previously approved by Congress, we start blaming Trump. Oh, Trump this. Oh, Trump that. You should have taken into account of these $8 million that you are scrambling for, and the areas, ladies and gentlemen, which were going to be affected or are going to be affected for BISD is the migrant program, professional development, English language acquisition, the 21st century community learning centers, student support and academic enrichment, the adult literacy education program. So there are important programs that have or are going to be affected with this freezing of federal funds. But again, should we blame President Trump? And it's easy to blame other people, right? Eve, Adam and Eve, Adam blamed the wife, Eve. La mujer que me diste, ella me dio el fruto para yo comer. And Eva was like, well, damn, who the hell do I blame? The snake. Pues fue la serpiente, me dijo la serpiente. And the poor snake was like, well, damn, who the hell? Yes, Maxi Poo. But what we have seen from this school board is they don't think ahead. The way the school district works, and I'm possibly giving outdated numbers because the numbers that I'm going to present to you were whenever the school district had 52 campuses. This was, I'm talking about 01, 02 possibly. Now we have seen the consolidation of schools. But back in 01, 02, in order for the school district to keep its doors open, listen to what I'm about to say, Maxi Poo. Back in 01, 02, it cost the school district $1 million a day for operations. You're talking about to pay the bills, to pay salaries, to keep the light on, so to speak. When we equate that to a month, Maxi Poo, BISD needs $30 million per month to keep the lights on. So everybody gets paid. So everybody has all the schools, everything is insured, everything. Again, this information might be outdated because we've had a consolidation of schools. We've had positions not rehired and things like that. But at one time, BISD needed $30 million for 1 month of operation. Now, any person, if you talk about finance, if you're talking about your personal finances, or if you're talking about a government entity the size of BISD, they always say it's important, Maxi Poo, for you to have 3 months of operation in the coffers, meaning for a rainy day. That is the way we operate. We I'll include myself, many of us live, unfortunately, paycheck to paycheck. But the reality of life is we need to have something set apart. Life insurance. I'm going to talk about that next week. Life insurance is very important. Many people say, hola, getting people to subscribe to you. Yamero, you're awesome, Frankie. Keep up what you're doing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for those kind words. I'm trying my best. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So technically, BISD, and that figure might not be as high, but let's put up that number because that is what I know at one time was the mark. So BISD, Maxi Poo, technically needs 30, 60, 90 million dollars in the coffers for what? A rainy day. And look, what's the realities of life, ladies and gentlemen? We, as human beings, we have hopes of living life until we're 80 years old, 100 years old, right? And maybe when I was younger, I said, man, I'm going to live forever. I don't need a plan for buying a terreno so they bury me. I don't need a life insurance policy for what? I'm going to live until I die of old age. But what's the reality of life? Something's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, but when. That is why I advise my clients, look, if something were to happen to you, would you be able to continue with your day-to-day, with your lifestyle? Maybe people think and say, you know what, I can't. Well, you should consider a life insurance policy because if something happens to you, your family would be able to pay for the house, would be able to, to pay for the bills. And we all have experienced that whenever we lose a loved one, the last thing we're thinking about is money. And I'm trying to correlate that with the school district, Maxi Poo, because the school district always puts the cart before the horse. They never think ahead. We need $90 million in the coffers for things like this. Oh, we're at a loss for $8 million. I'm going to make sure that our finance team does something about it. No, what we should have done is we should have prepared for this. We should have made sure that from the very beginning, we've had money set aside because, again, it's not a matter of if something's going to happen, but when is it going to happen? That is the reality of life, ladies and gentlemen. And we could go on and on and on, Gamboa. It's not just with this $8 million. The school district has been plagued. It seems as if there have been no attention to maintenance, to facilities. Now the school district is in dire need to go out for a bond. And I know that this might not be well received by the community. Oh, now you want to raise our taxes because of a bond and this, that, and that. Well, who can we blame? I blame Minerva Peña. I blame Carlos Elizondo. Why? Because they have been at BISD multiple tenures. Minerva Peña has been there for, 20 years? Going on 24 years? 20 years, if I'm not mistaken? She, of all people, should know. She is partially to blame. So, the school district, ladies and gentlemen, is not looking good. We've talked about previously about how Idea, Harmony, the charter schools, they're eating our lunch. They really are. We're losing students. I hate to use this word, but we're hemorrhaging. And also, not just that, ladies and gentlemen, it seems as if our superintendent doesn't have no balls. And I hate to be ugly. Recently, there was a bill, Texas House Bill 1481, which was passed in June, which banned smartwatches, tablets, and cell phones in the classroom. What did our school superintendent do? He asked for a survey. He wanted feedback on this. Why do we need a feedback from the parents when this has become law, Dr. Chavez? Essentially, what happened is we gave money to a firm to do this survey. It's just, spend money. Screw it. Al cabo hay melones. If a House bill passed, that means that it became law. There's not a if, ands, or buts about it. Now, people are saying, well, this is a safety issue. Then we need to focus on enforcing our security at the schools. We need to have a better communication system with the school district and the parents in case there is some sort of emergency per se. This superintendent, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say, just doesn't have what it takes to lead this district. And this isn't me who's saying this. I don't have nothing against the man. I really don't. But he's weak. Now I understand why Carlos Elizondo wants to get rid of him. Well, I always knew, but I said, you know what? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He had an emergency procedure earlier this year. You know, that takes a while for him to recoup. And because of legalities, you know, you can't fire an individual who took some time off and things like that. But the reality is the superintendent just doesn't have what it takes. And that's why the school board meeting today will be an insight into the job security of our superintendent. We have stated previously that we think that Dr. Chavez will no longer be the superintendent after his tenure is up with BISD. Why do you say this, Frankie? Well, again, it all goes back to the majority. Who is that majority going to be? Again, we have the beauty queen who goes to church with Minerva Peña. Who is she going to side with? Is she going to side with the three beautiful women, Daniela, Denise, and Jessica? Or is she going to side with Carlos, Frank, and Minerva? Gamboa, I can't. Me personally, I can't. Now, if you would say, you know what, this guy, Dr. Chavez has a strong presence. He takes things by the horns. He's a go-getter. He's respected. And look, when I say respected, ladies and gentlemen, there was a lot of things that were done when he was on medical leave. A lot of things were done behind his back. What's the saying? Whenever the cat is away, the mouse comes out to play. When Dr. Chavez was recuperating from his medical scare, there were a lot of changes done without his approval. The one that comes to mind is Rose Longoria. What's the proper word? Appointed, hired Fardy Trevino to be an assistant principal at Perkins. Currently or previously, I don't know how it is moving forward, but previously there was a lack of assistant principals, and it seems as if Fardy Trevino was hired to be like a floater, like, oh, wherever we need you, we're going to put you. But again, Fardy Trevino was a political hire. Whenever we talk about this previous election, he ran for school board and he lost to Erasmo Castro. Many people reached out to us and said, you know what? Rose Longoria made that move because there was a possibility that Fardy Trevino was going to be appointed to replace Erasmo Castro, which would eventually give Carlos Elizondo the majority. So Rose Longoria did that in anticipation of saying, hey, I'm appointing you I'm giving you this job. And again, it's all you scratch my back, I scratch yours in this environment. With the understanding that, hey, consider me for Superintendent. Rose Longoria. We have stated previously, who do we think is going to replace Dr. Chavez if his job were to come up in the near future? Rita Hernandez, Rose Longoria, Dr. Cantu. Some of you have stated Linda Gallegos, but I don't think Linda Gallegos. I don't believe so. I think she just got her certificate, or she's in the process of getting her certificate. That might be a wild card, but those are the people that I'm guessing. Again, personally, I would want somebody from the outside, somebody that knows how to run a monster that is BISD. But those people are who I anticipate will replace Dr. Chavez, either Rita Hernandez, Rose Longoria, Dr. Cantu. Who's the other one? Those three. Possibly Linda Gallegos. Possibly. We don't know. Frankie, are you going to attend today's board meeting? I believe so. I've been real busy, thank God. I want to be on the island. I want to enjoy myself. Possibly. I'm at 50-50 right now. I want to decide after lunch, depending on how I feel. Because, hey, I'd rather be on the beach, man. The island calls me. Life is a beach. So today's school board meeting, ladies and gentlemen, today's school board meeting is going to be very telling moving forward, because there is an agenda item to reorganize the school board. And this agenda item was placed by who? Carlos Elizondo. Carlos Elizondo, he has been wanting this school board position, the president's position, for a long time, for a very long time. He was upset when Erasmo Castro was nominated and voted to be the board president in November. Yeah, I know, but hey, it's BISD. It's the Wild West. So what's going to happen at today's meeting? We don't know. We anticipate that there obviously will be someone filling in for the vice presidency, but is this Carlos' time to become the president? Possibly. We stated that when the beauty queen got appointed, we said, uh-oh, Minerva, Frank, and Carlos got their 4. Be prepared. And I stated that because Jessica and Denise and Daniela have never really been in the minority. Correct me if I'm wrong. They were never really in the minority. And let me tell you, me seeing firsthand Erasmo Castro in that seat, being in the minority is not pretty. And if Carlos gets his 4, he's going to come at y'all hard. And you know Carlos. Carlos is vicious. Carlos sees blood and he goes at it. So with this agenda item of reorganization of the board, is Carlos going to become president? Is this going to be where Sylvia Atkinson was a vice president? Minerva Peña was a president, but we know who was really pulling the strings. Is Carlos going to do that? Is he going to leave Daniela Lopez Valdez alone? Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it has become apparent that Daniela Lopez Valdez just doesn't have it. She's too nice. She's too ditzy. Yeah, you know, it's all love. It's all peace. Yes. Kumbaya, kumbaya. We don't need that at the school district. Who is y'all, Frankie? What did I say? I don't have a script, so it's kind of hard for me to... If you can give me context of how when I said y'all, I could possibly give you better insight into what I was referring to. So let's say that Carlos Elizondo does become board president. Imagine what he's going to do. Daniela Valdez, you did a mistake when you nominated the beauty queen. You gave Carlos his fourth. Again, hypothetically, because we won't know what happens until the meeting, obviously. We won't know what happens. One friend told me, Carlos is always in scrubs. If he shows up in a suit, it's a done deal. It's going to be funny to see how he walks in this afternoon. And who can forget, I have made serious allegations against Carlos Elizondo of him being behind the Jazz Marie page. Isn't it a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen, of when we were talking about Rivera and we exposed of Carlos Elizondo and we talked about Carlos Elizondo was either behind the page or was working with others to disseminate hate against BISD employees? And hey, Obed Leal, Charlie Atkinson, sue the son of a gun. Sue the school district. They haven't censored him. They didn't investigate. Why? Because they anticipated that Carlos was going to become part of the majority. Nobody has balls at BISD, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's scared of their job. Oh, I don't want to do anything. And again, if I accused you, who's on here? Hernandez, Gamboa, Montelongo, Maxipu, Jeremias, Rosas. If I accuse you of something and you know deep down inside that it wasn't you, wouldn't you deny it? Wouldn't you say, "Nambe, estás loco, Frankie? I categorically deny these allegations that have been made against my person. Carlos Elizondo has been telling people that he's going to sue me. Oh, you're going to get sued." Remember, everything I talk about is him as a board member and his wife as a counselor at Rivera, who failed to report a teacher-student relationship. Everyone knows. The principal knew. Obed Leal knew. Norma Jean, the former principal, knew. This wasn't a secret. It was a secret to the community, but it wasn't a secret to those that live at Rivera, those that are teachers there. Everyone knows or knew about the culture, but yet they want to sue Frankie for what? For telling the community the truth? And again, people who say, I'm going to sue. They don't sue. Oh, if he prevails, that Carlos is going after y'all. Who is y'all? The three beautiful women. Daniela, Denise, and Jessica. If he becomes president, if he gets his majority, he's going to come after them. And Carlos doesn't play nice. Carlos is vicious. Carlos doesn't forget. Would Carlos be a better school board president than Lopez Valdez? Possibly. We have seen how Daniel Lopez Valdez just doesn't have what it takes to guide this district. We have seen how Daniel Lopez Valdez is in great support of the superintendent. Why? Because he's easily manipulated. He does as he's told. The school district is in disarray, ladies and gentlemen. No one knows what the heck is going on. There's so many voices. There's so many chatter. There is no one guiding the school district. Gamboa asked, can you justify the salary of $500,000? Well, close to $500,000. We can't. There is no possible way. So today's school board meeting, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be very telling moving forward for lots of things. We will see how the board reorganizes, if they do, who votes for who nominates who. That's what somebody keeps on telling me. I don't know if you're that person that tells me or what. People keep on saying that. People said, Frankie, it is a circus. BISD is a laughingstock. You're like the fourth or fifth different person that's told you that. Interesting. Again, this isn't me who's saying this. This is other people. People at the Glass Palace are telling me, no, hombre, Frankie, si nomás supieras, bro. No hay organización. Everybody's, it's a Wild West. That's what I hear. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we titled our program, Will There Be a New BISD Board President today? We anticipate that. We anticipate that it is going to be Carlos Elizondo. And if Carlos Elizondo hizo un desmadre with a fake Facebook page that was Jasmarie Reyes. And it's funny. People want to say, oh, it's not Carlos, it's not Carlos. Why did they take down their page that same day that we talked about Rivera? Isn't that a coincidence? And he hasn't denied it. And we're not going to let this go away. We're going to bring this up as much as possible because we want the community to realize the type of person that he is. He's a coward. He's not able to say it on his page. He was using Maggie to tag Maggie so Maggie could share that information. Maggie was complaining about all these people taking advantage of teachers and this, that, and that. Maggie ended up becoming what she was most critical of, unfortunately. And now Maggie's mad at me because I called her out. Oh, I don't want to talk to Frankie. Why not, Maggie? Because I called you out on your lies. Because I told you your truths, Maggie. What will happen today? We don't know. Stay tuned. But the reorganization of the board, ladies and gentlemen, will be very telling moving forward. Why? Because there are many important issues for the school district down the road. We have the issue of the bond to improve our facilities, our maintenances of our buildings. We have the school, the superintendent's contract coming up in the very near future. Are they going to fire him right now? Possibly. The whole attorney thing is still kind of like in a limbo. I didn't appear to when the Beauty King was sworn in. Eric Flores was a 3-3. O'Hanlon was a 3-3. Did they okay? Is Eric Flores? I think he is still the attorney, but did they ever vote on that? There's a lot of things at BISD that just aren't clear. So today's board meeting, ladies and gentlemen, will be very telling moving forward. We'll get a better insight into how the majority will form and how that does not look good for Dr. Chavez, and it does not look good for the three beauties on that school board, Denise, Daniela, and Jessica Gonzalez. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frankie Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace!